double decker, meaning then it's basically a Compara done wing fly, and it's got a double wing. It's just two wings that basically slightly separated by the dubbing, and it makes a very good fishing fly. Certainly a fly that's very popular here in the UK and worth dyeing for both rivers and lochs. And this is quite simple. You can change the colour to suit yourself. Now for this fly I'm just going to use a light olive uni thread in 8/0. Start with thread at the eye. Take it halfway down until we're in line with the point of the hook. Now the hook's a Kamasan, it's a B160, in this case a size 12. Now the shank's equivalent to a size 14, it's the gapes, it's 12. It's a good dry fly hook, certainly worth having. Now for the wing I'm using a coastal deer hair. Now it's quite a long one this. Normally you would find this kind of Compara done type hair a bit shorter. I've got the longer stuff here, so it gives me, it's the same type of fibre, and well, it is the same fibre really, but it gives me the option of tying larger flies but still have a nice fine straight fibre. Cut it right close to the skin, open out these fibres and then remove this fine fluff. You have to do that if you want to stack it. Now you could basically leave the fibres or the hair if you want. I mean, try and line it up slightly with your finger if you don't have a stacker, or lightly stack it, and don't overdo it. I'm going to put the fibres obviously tip first into the hair stacker. Just lightly tapping it on your desk. Take it off the way you want the wing to be tied in, which is, in this case I'm going to tie it forward of the eye. And then length. Now you have to have a measure to work with, especially if you're tying a larger or smaller fly. In this case, so I get the wing right all the time, it's the length of the shank, or the hook, sorry, full length of the hook from the eye to the back of the bend, which I'm going to tie forward. Now, I've taken my thread to the point. I want to position the wing about a third of the way back up, because I want a double wing. So I basically then measure, tie that forward, and then come in nice and tight, and really tight turns at the back. And as we work our way down, just before I do that, I'm just going to make sure this wing's on top, just lifting it, but always keeping a hold of these cut ends. And then come on to the waist piece of the deer here, and then what I do is I slowly break it, unwind. You'll feel it tearing, just take your time. And keep winding down, because what happens is it gives you a nice taper, and you'll see how it's tapering as I wind down to a point where I can actually tear it off. Now you really need, I've waxed my thread so it stays nice and tight. You can see how neat you get that if you can tie that way. It's just practice. It's all I've done is practice doing that. Now I've got, for the tail, I'm going to use Coq de Leon. This is the whiting Coq de Leon. It's a hackles, the large hackles that they use, which has that Coq de Leon look. Very nice, speckled fibre, as you can see. Now this is a dart done, so good half a dozen fibres. The length of the tail is up to yourself. Now, tails I'm tying on this pattern at the moment is the full length of the hook, so what I do is put that into my finger and thumb and hold it. And offer it to the side, the waist ends to my side. It's so that when I bring this turn up on top and onto the bare hook, it's lifting the fibres on top, and then keeping a hold of the tips of the fibres of the tail, come under with a turn and let it go, and pull the thread turn up, and as you can see it lifts the fibres and separates them, and then I turn to lock, and then I come in here and we trim this to this point, just there, where the taper really stops with the cut of the deer hair, and then I can come back down. Now the body is Spectrumized dubbing, so it's a fine rabbit blend. It's a mix, a few colours as you can see. There's blue, pink, yellows, natural. There's a right mix in that. You don't have to use that. You can use what dubbings you like. Now I'm going to lightly just put it onto the thread. Don't need any wax. You don't want wax. I don't like wax on when it comes to dubbing like this times. So I'm sliding it up, start it off with a turn, and then from that, that's my anchor point. I can then tighten up, stretch the dubbing out to form the shape that I want. So then if it's too thick I can stretch it, but twist it, just like you would do with the dubbing. Move that out of the way. And then just form a nice body. Just look at the shape, that tapered body shape that you're looking for. You can put it on as thin or as heavy as you like, it's up to yourself. A nice tapered body in the fly. At this point I'm going to just take away the excess dubbing, just slide it down your thread. Then what I'm going to do is basically split the hair so I can form two wings. So obviously put enough hair on that you can do this. Now you can push this up, separate it. You can have a look, now that's enough for the back wing. Now to separate that, what I'm going to do is take the thread turns down, maybe about 3 or 4 turns, but spreading it out. Then I'm going to tighten up and come back up. Now in that space, what I'm going to do is put some dubbing, which will help separate both wings to form our double decker. So then we just come in with the dubbing, take our time, there we are. Then bring our thread, lifting our forward wing, bring a thread to the front, then tiny bit more dubbing, just to help lift the forward or the front wing itself. Just draw it back. Very easy method to tie. Now I've used quite a few fibres to do that. One of them is snowshoe, makes a great wing. CDC, and a mix of Compara done here and CDC that works really well. As well as this style, which is the one that most people recognise. We can put a tiny bit of varnish on my thread once the dubbing's at the front, just to tidy or lift that forward wing. Just that as a bit of support, and then we can come in, basically whip finish 3 or 4 times, draw your thread, and there we are. And that there's your double decker. Now the colour of the body you can change to every colour you want now. The dubbing I used, as I say, is Spectrumized dubbing, and this is a dark olive, though it looks quite light, but when it's wet it darkens down a good bit. Just going to bring my scissors between these so you can see the space that I formed or the distance. I missed a couple of fibres or drawing them down, just take them away like these two. You will catch the odd one, but it's a good fly. The boys originally came up or started fishing this style, fished the rivers, and they needed a good fly, a good sort of size that they could see in the rough water, and this fly was the what they came up with. So, and what we know is a double decker or a double wing Compara done. But it's a nice style, a nice fly, and then it's the tying of it. It's up to you. Just blow away any loose dubbing there. As you can see, good fun. Tie hare's ear version. I've got some bigger ones here with the hare's ear body. You dark olive or even darker than that, since again it's entirely up to you. Or even just thread with a wee bit of dubbing to separate the top. It's a good pattern, so I hope you enjoyed that.